Donald Trump is a joke, people. This candidacy is a joke. It's it's an aberration, it's an absurdity. Now, so far, it looks like Donald Trump is going to lose, and it looks like he's going to lose big. So far, the joke is only going to be on the Republican Party. And they deserved it, to tell you the truth. Because why? Because shame on them. Shame on the Republicans that this is their nominee. This is a fundamentally not qualified, unserious person running for the presidency of the United States of America. I mean, he should not have gotten this far. He should have been a sideshow in the primaries. And you know, one of the unheralded reasons as to why so few people predicted his rise is because they knew that he was a joke. Yeah, he's winning in the polls, but he's a joke. And the Republicans aren't actually going to go through with nominating him because that would be absurd. Let's just take his signature issue. Okay, the time when I thought that he was over was when he had his ban on Muslim immigration. Now, it's been colored up now, but when he first came out with it, it was a ban on all Muslim immigrants coming to the United States. All. Immigration and tourists. That was the original policy proposal. And that's an absurdity. Not only, never mind the fact that is completely prejudiced, is the very definition of prejudice. The very definition, the root of the word, prejudge. If 5 Muslims are terrorists, that means all Muslims are terrorists. You are prejudging an entire group of people based on the actions of some. Prejudice. It's the very definition of the word prejudice. Prejudging. Let's put aside the fact that it's a completely racist policy. But it's an absurdity because everybody who knows anything about how the government functioned knew that it was never going to be enacted. So it was a joke. It's not something that anybody was going to actually do if he had won the presidency and put into practice. So I said at the time when my wife came home, I said, Donald Trump is finished because this time he's finally gone too far. And lo and behold, he didn't go too far. He actually grew in popularity after coming out with that absurd policy. Never mind that it's a racist policy, it's an absurd policy. It's not something that anybody's going to enact. And if anybody thought that that's something that's enactable, they don't understand enough about the government that they shouldn't even be allowed to vote, probably, because they don't understand how the system operates. There's no way anything that absurd and that extreme was going to be put into effect. So it's just a fantasy thing. And I said at the time, this time he's actually gone too far, because that should have been the end of him. It should have been the end of him. And that's why so many of the pundits got it wrong. Yeah, it may look like he's in the lead in the polls, but his candidacy is a joke, and everybody sort of knows that, because these people study politics for a living, so they know that his candidacy is a joke, so they're just assuming there's no way that this guy is going to become the nominee. Well, lo and behold, he becomes the nominee. But that is to the great shame of the Republican Party. That is a stain that should not leave them. Okay? Now, there are plenty of Republicans who were not pro-Trump, and there are plenty of Republicans who were against him, and it's not their fault. But it still is a shame on the Republican Party, and so it should be, because he's a joke, and he should never have gotten this far. Now, if God forbid the guy wins the presidency, that will be a joke on the entire country. The joke will be on you, America, you, the American citizen. There is not enough sanity, and this is what it ultimately means about the Republican Party. There is not enough sanity. There are not enough safeguards for normalcy and sane policy. There aren't enough people to rally around, stable, sane policy to make sure that somebody like that doesn't become their nominee. Now, I don't think he's going to become the president of the United States, but if he were to become the president of the United States, that would be a stain on all of us. The joke would be on all of us. The joke would be on our media, who couldn't expose enough of him to not let him win. The joke would be on our citizenry. I mean, the joke would be on all of us. And that's the truth. If you're a Trump supporter, on a certain level, You're just living in a complete fantasy. The things that he says he's going to do, you shouldn't, first of all, you shouldn't want him to do them. But second of all, they aren't real policies because they aren't anything that anybody could put into practice. You cannot enact a ban on Muslims. It would never work. Now he's changed the policy to just immigration, or just, and he's watered it down over the months. But it's still not a doable policy. It's not real. It's a joke.